Hello? Hello?
How you doing today?
Oh, not too awful bad. You?
Pretty good. Not bad for a rainy day.
No.
I know, it seems like every day it rains now.
Well, you know, October wants to make up for our lack of rain.
I guess so.
Well, it is October.
I'm still happy it's only rain,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
and that it's not the mountains that Rangeley are getting.
No, 5
Considering
inches.
it snowed in Rangeley on Saturday, was it?
Yeah.
It did snow in Rangeley on
Uh-huh,
Saturday.
oh, yeah. Yeah, Jefferson, New Hampshire got 9.5 inches of snow.
Nice.
A friend of mine lives down in Bethel, and she can, of course, see the mountains clearly,
Yeah,
and she said it's really weird to see the foliage and the mountains with snow
Yep.
caps.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it won't be long enough. So we'll see some. So I don't like driving at night in the rain, but I will in the snow. Doesn't bother me. But the driving at night in the rain, I didn't like it.
It's really dark.
Yeah.
Very dark.
You got everybody here, we all set to go?
Yeah.
Alright. Good evening and welcome to the regular town council meeting for the town of Pittsfield, Tuesday, October 20th. If we could all please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a moment of silence, please. Next on the agenda is adoption of minutes of the regular meeting held on October 6th, 2020.
Move we adopt the minutes as presented.
Second?
Counselors, did you see any additions, deletions, corrections that needed to be made on the minutes?
What time is it?
Okay, not hearing any, we will vote. All those in favor of adopting the minutes of our last regular meeting held on October 6th, 2020, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Catherine, presentations, congratulations, and introductions.
Yes, on community and economic development activities and events, I'll note that the Civil Engineering Services, CES Inc., which is the town's engineer on the Main Street project, has looked at the bump outs and whether we can obtain more parking spaces or would actually end up with less because they're allowing us to move the traffic in the crosswalks. And so from their review, they don't believe it will help us to take out the bump outs at this time. And it's because of some federal regulations which then would cause issues with the crosswalks. And so they're still waiting for some information from DOT to confirm that, but they believe that that is, we should leave the bump outs there, which is the areas that come out that the people can stand on to protect them from the traffic. We also have for the Main Street project a historical review of Main Street tomorrow 1 to 2 on Zoom with all of the MDOT staff, myself and our consultant from CES to talk about what their findings are regarding our area, which they consider part of Main Street to be a historic district, and having the Esplanade taken out may impact that. So I'll hear more tomorrow and get the exact details on what they're looking at from their review before they go to the Maine Historic Preservation Commission. So they have an internal person, they have a department that handles historic preservation in DOT, which then works with the Maine Preservation Office and their commission. And so this is all internal DOT at this point to try to push this forward. So I said, sure, have the meeting, let's sit down and talk about this and find out exactly what the details are here, and then I'll report back to the council. And so those are two items that we need to resolve. The bump outs I think are resolved, but the Esplanade needs to be resolved so that we can go forward. CES is still waiting for 2 pieces of information regarding the layout of Main Street so they can go ahead and start some designing so we can move forward here. There will be a Pittsfield Economic Expansion Corporation meeting on Wednesday at 4 o'clock for a couple of hours to go over a number of projects, which includes some business projects, as well as talk about and look at a clip for the town video and talk about the town theater. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Public hearings and old business.
Ordinance 20-10, public hearing. That the town council hereby ordains that chapter 2B, general assistance ordinance, appendices A through H be rescinded, and the new appendices A through H be adopted to reflect the revised maximums for the period of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
Thank you, Catherine. This is a public hearing. We do not have anyone in the audience here with us tonight. Do we have anyone on Zoom?
We do not.
Okay, so we are going to just kind of skip over that part. Counselors, we'll look for a motion, and then we'll have discussion.
Move we adopt ordinance 20-10.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? This is kind of a housekeeping item that comes before us every year.
It is a housekeeping. There are some minor changes, but not much impact. I thought there might be more in looking ahead to 2021. But for the maximums for Somerset County that somebody can get for general assistance for a month, for one person has gone up from $699 to $709. And then for a family of 5 plus has gone up for the maximum availability from 1,316 to 1,338. So not a lot of change during a year of change.
Do you know when they make those tables up, Catherine? Are they using data from like the year before in order to do it? Is there
Yes.
any flexibility that, as far as that, because so many people are out of work?
I know. So that is all taken into consideration by the Maine Municipal Association and the state of Maine in their review. So the unemployment figures are taken into consideration, as well as the counties, because they break down what the average costs are from the survey, county by county. So for many items, there's a county figure. Like, for example, Somerset County would have a lot lower figure for overall general assistance than where Portland is, for example. So they do look at all that. I thought there would be more change than there
Yeah,
was.
I was just thinking more about the timing of the data that they have and when they're making the decisions to do it. But this is not something that we set policy on.
Basically,
It would be
we
correct.
just do what we're told.
Well, we adopt it so we can provide the assistance we need,
Exactly.
right? If we don't adopt it, then
We can't
we're
provide
not participating in it. Any other discussion, counselors? All those in favor of adopting ordinance 20-10, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Reports. Council committees, finance committee.
Hmm.
Finance committee meeting, we had, boy, I lost my.
Was it just last week?
It was just.
Seems like
It
it.
seems like a really long week.
It does seem like it was.
Wasn't it last week?
It was last week, yes, we just met last week. We just did a quick review, it wasn't a super long meeting. We actually all now have our budget books, which is fantastic. Our next meeting to discuss the budget is next week, and that is actually a workshop for the town council. And the finance committee is meeting beforehand, is that correct? I have that correct?
That's what I.
Yes, okay. So that's pretty much it.
So finance committee's meeting at what, 5?
It's at 5 for finance committee and then
Yeah.
6:30 for the budget
Yeah.
workshop. I'll warn you, I may be a couple of minutes late.
I have in my calendar, it says if needed,
Correct.
so we may not need to come in.
I think we need to where we just got the budget book
Okay.
before we meet for the, unless you guys don't want to.
I haven't had a chance to look at my budget book, I just got it this afternoon.
All right, so why
I know,
don't
I haven't had a chance
I
to look at
haven't
it
really
either,
looked
which
at
is
it
why I was
either,
thinking
but-
we'll need it.
All right, so why don't you look over your books and then let me know if you want to have a meeting or not. And if I don't hear from you, I'll contact you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That way if we have questions beforehand,
Yes.
then we can iron them out.
Right, or you might even not want the whole time, you may want 5:30 or
Yeah.
what have you.
Okay, we'll play it by ear. All set, Amanda?
Yes, all set.
Ordinance committee has not met. We are still waiting for items to come from the planning board and some review of the sewer system, so that status hasn't changed at all. Recycling committee,
No report this evening,
and you're not gonna have any meetings for the rest of the year,
not
correct?
until January.
Okay.
So on the sewer ordinance, I did provide that to Oliver Associates, and we did work on the terms and conditions, and so the thought at the time is you all wanted to wait till next year, but I can bring those in to a future meeting this year with no issues. We could look those over.
To have a public hearing and get the ordinance passed, or just for everybody to look over ahead of time?
For everybody to look over. ahead of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then decide if you want to go forward with it.
Do we want to do that on our next regular meeting?
Let me
I
check
missed
with
the
all-
beginning of
think
this
about-
conversation.
Yeah, let me check with Oliver Associates. The sewer ordinance was put together by myself, so it needed to be checked over by an engineer. So that's at Oliver Associates, and they did work on the terms and conditions, which looked pretty good. We probably should have a presentation by Oliver Associates on that, then we can get ahead of things.
Okay, we'll
So
see
I'll-
where it's gonna fit.
Yeah, okay, I'll schedule something. That'll get us moved forward at least. Terms and conditions is not a rate increase. it's making the regulations work better.
And that's
Right.
that's what the committee had already reviewed. And we were just having Oliver look at it again.
Yes,
So
because-
we don't need to see it again before the council, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think
not
so.
unless you want to. If
Okay.
you want
I don't-
more
I
details.
don't think we need to.
Okay, because you only had me explaining it.
You okay with that, Pete?
Okay with that.
I probably bored you all enough there.
He's like, yeah, that's
All right, so we'll look for that coming up, and if it doesn't fit with all the budget stuff coming up, then we'll just wait and deal with
Okay.
it when we're gonna be putting all that through
Mhm.
anyway. Board and committee updates by town councilors and town manager.
So that would just be Catherine.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any
No.
other board.
No, the next meeting of the Parks and Recreation Committee will be on November 5th. So they're
Okay.
skipping a little while to make the schedules all work. But they'll be starting to talk about the different parks and all the connections and how everything will work together for the
Have they
future.
decided what they're doing for winter sports programming?
We'll also be talking about that too.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's next week. is that-
They'll be meeting on November 5th, yes, next week.
Week after next.
Oh,
Please don't rush that
Let's
election.
not. We don't need to lose a weight. I have too much work to do, you have too much.
I don't know,
to
right
do.
now I'm
Me
just
too.
ready to work, just cover me over with. All right, so we'll get information about that probably at our second meeting, or is that, yeah, it'll be our second meeting of November.
November, yeah.
Okay. Town manager report.
All right, very good. For the town manager's report, number one, the 2020 paving. Pike Industries has continued to pave on the Higgins Road. They've been very careful to make sure the temperature is appropriate and not to pave when the roadway is too wet, because as we know, it's rained a lot. The company should be done this week as they were working on the overlay coat. 2, municipal building back walkway. The back walkway to the municipal building and area along the sidewalk is still gravel, having been excavated by Public Works in anticipation of the paving company's arrival. The walkway will be completed after all the paving is completed on Higgins Road. Anyone who is unable to move across the terrain of the back walkway, which still is very level considering all the rain that happened, they can call the town office at 487-3136. We will make arrangements for people to get into the front door and to enter that way. Number 3, manhole rim project for Detroit Avenue. FCS, the company known as Facilities and Construction Services, moved right in after the last council meeting, completed the rims right off, did a great job, just as they did on Honeywell Avenue. They got everything done, and I'm thinking because their prices were the lowest on those 2 jobs, that maybe we should try to retain them for next year and make an arrangement with them. They did such a good job. So the manhole rims that have been holding up the Detroit Avenue paving was done, and so that means the paving needs to be done. So the Public Works foreman's been in contact with Grundy's Paving, and they had agreed to come on 10/19. And that did not happen, but the overlay coat needs to be put on, so I reminded him to just keep calling them to get that done, because now that we fixed the rims, we have cuts there, and we don't want to end up with those all winter, because that would be a maintenance nightmare. But at least the rims were all taken care of, and very quickly too, so now we need the paving. Number 5, water hydrant flushing. The town will continue flushing the fire hydrants. We began at the beginning of the month and will complete the process by October 30th. It went along very well. During that time period, customers may experience intermittent pressure fluctuations and occasional yellow water or water with black particles. The yellow color in the water is due to the presence of iron. The black particles are due to the presence of manganese. We've received very few calls from the public, which is good. That meant that the advertising got out and the notices got out and people saw that.
Also, is there a smell associated with that too? Stirring that all up?
Not that I've heard of.
Since they started it, when I run my garbage disposal, it smells like the outside, like a pile of dirt that's wet.
Okay, I'll ask about that. Okay. So far,
I mean, I know it's not the, garbage disposal because it's brand new, so, but it's just weird, it just started.
Okay,
I'm just bringing that up, maybe somebody else has had that same.
I'll ask the
experience.
staff about that. Number 6, Pinto Trailer. Public Works have been requested to put bid specifications together for the last council meeting, which was received. The council requested a second option, which was provided last week by Public Works. So the bids are now out to companies, as been placed in the paper, for a new 25-ton trailer. So we got 2 options available. The new 25-ton capacity, 30-foot long dual tilt deck trailer, which is the original one. And then a new 25-ton capacity, 29 to 30 feet deck over trailer, which all the equipment should fit on. So this gives us 2 different options. The bids are due on October 30th. Crack sealing at the airport, number 7. 2 bids were received on the crack sealing for the due date of October 16th. And interesting enough, both were from companies from Pennsylvania. So Public Works is reviewing those bids, and I knew once we put the federal Buy America paperwork in and said it was grant funding that it might be difficult for local contractors to participate. But that's how we get the money, is we have to do that. So Public Works will go over those firms, and then if that will work out, we'll hire one of them. Number 8, November election and absentee voting. I've got to say, seems like the busiest town office around, but they're all busy now. November election and absentee voting. November 3rd is election day, and we have a reminder for the handicap access. Anyone who needs to utilize the ramp and handicap parking spot are welcome to do so. Due to COVID-19, there is one-way traffic through the building. Anyone can, we encourage people to call ahead, and we will make arrangements for you to safely and easily enter the building. Election day and the day after the election. Due to the required setup for safety with COVID-19, there are fewer voting booths in the council chambers and required one-way traffic. Due to the anticipated turnout and moving people through the building, the town offices will be open for only election traffic on Tuesday, November 3rd. So this means that citizens will not be going upstairs for regular town services. This is for the public and staff safety. It will also reduce lines. The staff that normally would be working upstairs are going to be working on the elections, but they'll also be answering the phones. So people need to remember, just as a reminder, that you can utilize many online services by going to www.pittsfield.org. You can also call the town office, and we can do business over the phone with credit cards and debit cards. The town offices will also be closed on Wednesday, November 4th, because that's a normal closure date. Online services will be available that day too. Absentee voting. And believe me, we have seen a lot of absentee voting, so people have been doing really good with this. Any registered Maine voter may choose to vote absentee either via mail or in person at their town office prior to election day. Voters do not need to provide a reason to absentee vote. A link to the state electronic request page is available on our website, www.pittsfield.org. There's also the option to print out a paper application at the state website, and we have printed applications available at the town office. Absentee ballots may be requested without reason until Thursday, October 29th at 5 p.m. Absentee ballots may be voted in person without reason until Friday, October 30th at 5 p.m. unless there are special circumstances. And reasons for special circumstances that people would come in and vote right before the election that Monday and Tuesday would include incapacitation, illness or unexpected absence, sworn under oath and signed affidavit. Any voted absentee ballots must be returned to the town office by 8 p.m. on election day to be counted. So if there is a big issue that comes up or somebody isn't able to get in because of these reasons, an absentee ballot can be arranged for before that time, before 8 p.m. on election day. If people would like to vote absentee at the town office until Friday, October 30th, we have voting booths set up, and people have definitely been using them. That gives people the experience of voting in person, but they don't have to wait in a long line. This is helpful for those people who can't stand up for long periods of time or shouldn't be out in the public due to health conditions or any other reason. So people can vote during normal town office hours at their convenience. So for any new voters, the town's polling location is 112 Somerset Avenue, here in the Municipal Building Council Chambers. And believe me, we've had a lot of new voters sign up. And it's an incredible number. The municipal building is located with the fire station for new voters. On to number 9, wind turbine. We did, because the wind turbine had a catastrophic event due to the weather, I filed an insurance claim, and we have an adjuster who's working with the department head in charge of the wind turbine. So far, they're trying to find somebody that can troubleshoot this, and all the phone calls that we've made, all the references that we've been given, all of the email addresses we've been given, nobody has contacted us back yet. So the insurance adjuster is helping with that too, looking for somebody further out than our general area. Number 10, taxes due. Property taxes were due on Friday, October 16th at 5 p.m. Still have payments coming in, and we will until the end of the year. We will compare the collections at the end of October 2020 to past year's collections to see where we are in terms of sustainability. So that'll be coming out at the end of the month. Number 11 is 2020 tax anticipation note, our TAN. We'll be paying off the tax anticipation note this week, and councilors will note the payment on the expense warrant. And we knew that we'd have sufficient funds to pay off the TAN, which we have. The issue now will be how much of the budget that's left can we actually spend in November and December in reference to the amount of revenue collections that are coming in, because they are lower. So we are getting caught up, but the process is slow. Number 12, Drift Busters rehabilitation of the snowmobile bridge at Manson Park. The club president, Jim Duffy, forwarded some photos for our records that show that the group barricaded off the bridge at Manson Park earlier this year when it started to deteriorate. The club believes that the funds that they put into the grant, which we talked about, is enough to repair the facility. They're going to have a work bee in October, and they're all coming in to work on this if they haven't already done it. Jim will be forwarding some photographs for our background after the work is completed. So they plan to fix up the problems with the snowmobile bridge. Number 13, postage machine lease. That item had been on the agenda to renew at approximately the same price, a little bit less, for 2021 and then half of 2022. And then I was able to negotiate it down, so we'll have just a semi-annual payment rather than making a payment every month, which we do now, which is just a lot of extra effort and time. So that was good. Number 14, the photocopier lease is coming up. So we'll first try to negotiate an arrangement with the current vendor to come up with the same or a lower price for at least a machine of equal quality, if not an upgrade. And I expect we'll do this after the elections. We don't want to do anything before then, just in case we file up stuff. That might not be good. Number 15, budget review. The town council officially starts review of the proposed 2021 budget for the calendar year of January 1 through December 31st, 2021, next Tuesday evening, October 27th at 6:30 p.m., which you previously heard from the Finance Committee Chair. I'll be setting up a little budget corner on the town website that will have background in it on the budget as well as past history. The information I had before sort of got taken off, so I've got to go back through and find the best documents that we can put on and make a little budget corner that people can go in and look at. And last item is number 16, Community Service Days. MCI's Community Service Days are October 21 and October 28. The town of Pittsfield will be participating with students signed up to bag leaves at the Municipal Building, Stein Park, and Hawthorne Park. So that will be starting tomorrow, and there will be groups of students at Hawthorne Park because there'll be many students because there are many leaves there. Thank you.
Thank you for those updates, Catherine. New business, ordinance 20-11.
Ordinance 20-11, set the public hearing November 4th, 2020, that the town council hereby ordains to transfer property located at 456 Canaan Road, map 18, lot 64, to Chad E. O'Brien for the sum of $16,600 as a result of a tax-acquired property bid. The town acquired said property as a result of automatic foreclosure of a 2016 property tax lien recorded in the Somerset County Registry of Deeds on June 20th, 2017 at Book 5169, page 237, which matured on December 20th, 2018. The town council further authorized the town manager to execute a municipal quitclaim deed releasing the town's interest in said property to Chad E. O'Brien.
I move we set ordinance 20-11 to public
Second.
hearing on November 4th, 2020.
Second.
Deb got to jump on.
Second, sorry.
Any discussion about that, counselors? No.
Glad to have it on.
Yeah,
Get it moving.
that is good.
Alright, all those in favor of setting ordinance 20-11 to public hearing November 4th, 2020, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Set the public hearing. 2012, Kathy.
Ordinance 20-12, set the public hearing November 4th, 2020, that the town council hereby ordains to transfer property located at 132 Paltoma Avenue, map 23, lot 5, to Tanya C.G. Hazard for the sum of $9,000 as a result of a tax-acquired property bid. The town acquired said property as a result of automatic foreclosure of a 2017 property tax lien recorded in the Somerset County Registry of Deeds on June 20th, 2018 at Book 5294, page 244, which matured on December 20th, 2019. The town council further authorized the town manager to execute a municipal quitclaim deed releasing the town's interest in said property to Tanya C.G. Hazard.
Move we set ordinance 20-12 to public hearing on 11/4/2020.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, counselors? Okay, and we will vote on ordinance, setting ordinance 20-12 to public hearing on 11/4. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Brings us on to resolution 20-112.
Resolution 20-122, resolved that the town council authorize the town manager to execute a lease with Maine Central Institute for property known as part of the Pinnacle for a one-year term through October 31st, 2021, extending and renewing the lease for these same premises dated September 19th, 2007.
I move we adopt resolution 20-122.
Second.
Discussion, counselors?
So this discussion that we're going to have about the future, is that whether or not they're going to continue to allow us to use it?
I think it's more that this is something that, it's property that Maine Central Institute has had for decades, but has really no contact with. So it seems that they would likely like to transfer it to somebody. And so that's what we need to discuss. How would that take place? What would be involved? Who would it be transferred to? How would this be done? Because you have a ski club that's running it now. You have the town that's an owner. You have Maine Central Institute that's a leaseor. So you have all these parties involved. So we need to sit down and talk about what is the future going to look like. And so by making this a one-year lease instead of a 10, it sort of forces the issue.
Okay.
And it works out well because we have a new Parks and Recreation Committee, so it all sort of fits together.
Yeah, so are they going to be reviewing the potential use of that as part of their,
Mhm.
Okay.
They'll be looking over all the parks, so I think Manson Park and the Pinnacle are probably the more important ones due to how they're set up and the number of activities. Hawthorne Park is important also.
Yeah.
Any other discussion, councilors? So we will vote on resolution 20-122. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-123.
Resolution 20-123, resolved that the town council appoint Nicole Nicklin as warden and Karen Kelsey, Melody Fitzpatrick, Emily Reed, and Michael Fior as deputy wardens for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and the municipal/MSAD number 53 local election.
Move we adopt resolution 20-123.
Second.
Any discussion, councilors? Pretty much a housekeeping item.
Yes, housekeeping. Of which we'll all be glad when it's over with.
Okay, all those in favor of resolution 20-123, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-124.
Resolution 20-124, resolved that the town council approve the opening of absentee ballots on Tuesday, October 27th, 2020, from 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. through Monday, November 2nd, 2020, from 10 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and the municipal/MSAD 53 local election.
I move we adopt resolution 20-124.
Second.
Discussion, councilors?
Is this a new thing that we're allowed to open these early?
We
or-
have opened them early before, but only on 1 or 2 days, not this long a period of time, but
Well, there's an
we've also
extensive
never
notice.
seen this many absentee ballots.
I was gonna say, a lot of people are doing, that's what they're doing, so they don't have to be out in a public crowd. I don't blame them, I'm gonna use absentee ballot.
Mhm. No, people are, all day long they're coming in.
I've already early voted.
I mean, we're up higher than the last 2 elections number of absentee ballots, and we'll keep on going.
So when you're opening them early, how do they get recorded? Because I know typically you're throwing them through the machine. Is that what you're doing when you're opening them early?
I believe that that's what we have to do, I'm not absolutely sure, but they're all accounted for and then they're all put away afterwards and locked in the safe.
I see. I've just never heard of it being done early before, so that's cool. I'm glad. I was worried for the staff, if it could only be
We'd
done
never
that
go
day.
home, nobody would go home.
That's happened in the past, we don't want it to happen anymore.
Any other discussion or questions, councilors? Not hearing any? All those in favor of passing resolution 20-124, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. And that brings us down to discussion items.
For discussion items, you have the department reports for September 30th, you can review all of those. And then for the financial reports, I'll just mention a few items. For the budget expenditures, we are through 75% of the calendar year, and we are at 56.5% of municipal expenditures. We are through 52.4% of municipal water and sewer, and that is usually lower because there is depreciation and other entries that are made only by the auditor at the end of the year. For revenue collection, we're through 75% of the period again, and we have 56.1% municipal collections and 55.2% municipal water and sewer. So as you can see, we're still running quite low in the revenue collections. However, we've been able to maintain the expenditure collections, at least in the municipal budget, as low as possible. So we'll keep doing that. Excise tax collections, we were further ahead than the 2019 collections, but this month we have less revenue collected for excise tax than this month last year. But we still are ahead $36,204 versus last year at this time. So that's very good. And revenue sharing is really a great spot here. We are $96,323 ahead of 2019 collection, so this is a really bright spot here, the state revenue sharing. Now, please remember that in the future, they are looking at revenue sharing cuts for the future, next budgets, and already are projecting less because it is based upon state revenues coming in, and state revenues have been down because there's been less travel, less activity and everything. But this is still a good revenue source for the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Any other discussions in there?
No.
Just the budget.
No, we spent all the time on the budget.
Okay, so that brings us down to reports. We don't have an audience tonight, so we'll start with counselors. Matt, I'm gonna start with you so I don't forget your name.
Yeah, just a question for Catherine. I thought we had a deadline on the paving on Pike. It was supposed to be done by October 9th.
We did, yes.
So do they pay a penalty for going over, or? are
We can penalize them $150 a day, but they have been doing a good job, and they have been very conscientious, and they have come every single day to try to straighten us out.
Okay.
So, but yes, it was supposed to be done by October 9th, but with the constant rain, they got behind. But each single day, they have showed up and tried to pave. Sometimes they've left because it's just too wet.
Okay. And there's nothing in their contract that says if it rains that they're not obligated to pay that?
No, that's correct, there's nothing in there.
Okay. Alright, that was it.
Okay, thank you. Tim?
I have no report this evening. I just wanted to say that unfortunately, due to work scheduling conflicts, I will not be able to attend the peak meeting tomorrow. And the next town council meeting that is scheduled for Wednesday is a work night for me as well. So I will not be at those two meetings, and I apologize for that ahead of time.
Okay. We know
Other than that-
Wednesdays are tough for you.
Other than that, I have no report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Amanda?
I have no report tonight.
Okay. Pete?
Just a question, has there been any movement on the theater? Any updates, anything?
That's one of the items we're gonna talk about during the peak meeting, how we can assist the real estate agent. I mean, there's been a lot of hits and activity, and they've shown it, but nothing has happened as of yet. So one of the topics for peak is how can we assist? I've offered to place the information that the real estate agent has on several economic development sites that I have access to that they would not have access to. So we need to lay out how we're going to assist moving this along here. So that'll be a topic.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Deborah?
I have no report.
Okay. I just have a couple of things. We had a really great turnout for Open Creamery Day on the 11th. And I just want to thank everybody that came. They were wonderful, wonderful, evenly spaced throughout the day. We didn't have groups of people coming through that were too big. Everybody wore masks. They were able to, and it was really appreciated by the staff that we had at the farm. I am greatly concerned about the outbreaks of COVID that are popping up around us. There's one in Brooks, significant one in Brooks that will probably expand based on, exposure and everything, and then also in Skowhegan and other schools. And I think that we need to be really conscious about that when we're talking about winter sports and any other community activities that we might be sponsoring. That's all I have. Anybody else?
So I was gonna note, I did put information out to you from the CDC on Halloween activities. All the Halloween activities in town have been canceled, the organized ones, for obvious reasons. But the Heart of Pittsfield did contact me and asked if we would be putting out any information on what can and can't be done. So if you would like, I'll take the CDC from their website and take up some information and make a handout. a very simple one, because the information they have now is multiple pages.
Right, yeah. it's
So if
kind
that's
of-
something that you're interested in having us do, we can do that.
I think it would be a smart thing to do, because people don't know. I mean, you know, there's still a lot of questions concerning this.
Oh, there is, there's a lot of
And, you
complications.
know, it's really too bad kids can't be kids.
And how would those pamphlets be disseminated?
I think that this would be, posters, Facebook, website. We would try to, have, I know they talked about handouts, but I think we'd have less handouts and more of the.
That's what I was,
on the-
that's what I was hoping for, that was gonna be
on social
online,
media.
'cause
or
Social
like that.
media.
pretty much everybody's online now.
Yeah, on our website, our social media, Heart of Pittsfield, they'll share anything. The library, put up posters at the library where kids are found. Is there any like other parent groups in town that
We've got some
maybe the rec
homeschooling
department
groups, too.
has their own website or their
You'd
own
have all the
too?
Facebook pages would all
So
share,
put it
so
on
that
there
would work
too.
out. The
PTO,
Parents
PTA.
Teachers Association in the schools.
Yeah.
That would be a good one
Yeah.
to share.
Yeah.
So I will get that taken care of.
I'm sure Warsaw would be willing to share it on their social media.
I think we have to get used to the fact that this is the way the world goes now. I don't think we'll ever completely be out of the masks. So, life has to march on.
Yep, we have to find a way to work with it. So,
I
anyone
move-
have a,
I move we adjourn.
that's right.
Second.
Second?
Oh, thank you, Matt.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Me too. I think that is record time.
No
Aye.
kidding. Can we have more of those until
Well, all we
we're
did
done
was-
with the budget?
All we did was put a bunch of stuff on the next meeting, so.
Well,
Parent school.
yes, but we had one of those happen tonight.
Too busy with the
I
pictures.
I think we'll go here while it's still warm.
I can't win on that.
He and I might actually eat dinner at the
I mean,
same
it was.
time. I don't know, he went on a fire.
Take that to make sure.
Well, and you want it to because it's not.
Well, even that, I mean, you can get the flu, I got a flu shot this year, because I got F1 to B, right?